Welcome back to the channel where we document the most significant moments in automotive history and the machines that made them possible. Today, we are standing at the intersection of motorsport heritage and high-stakes collecting because a vehicle of immeasurable historical weight has just emerged on the market. When we talk about Formula One legends, one name inevitably rises above the rest: Michael Schumacher. Before the 7 world titles, before the era of Ferrari dominance, and before he became a global icon, there was a specific moment when the potential turned into kinetic reality. That moment was the 1992 Belgian Grand Prix, and the machine that delivered his very first victory is now looking for a new owner. We are talking about the Benetton B192, chassis number 06, the actual car that crossed the line first at Spa-Francorchamps, signaling the arrival of the Rain Meister. This is not a replica, not a show car, but the genuine article that launched the most statistically significant career in the sport's history, and it is heading to the auction block in Paris with an estimate that reflects its unparalleled provenance. To understand the value of this car, we must rewind to the 1992 Formula One season. It was a year completely dominated by the Williams-Renault team and Nigel Mansell, who were armed with active suspension and superior technology. For a young German driver named Michael Schumacher, in his first full season with Benetton, scoring points was the goal, but winning seemed like an impossible task against the Williams juggernaut. However, the B192 was a special piece of engineering. Designed by the legendary duo of Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne, the same minds who would later architect Schumacher's dynasty at Ferrari, the B192 was a masterclass in conventional aerodynamics. It featured the distinctive high nose cone, a shark-like aesthetic that directed airflow under the car, a concept that would soon become the standard for the entire grid. Under the engine cover sat the 3.5-liter Ford Cosworth HB V8. While it lacked the outright power of the Renault T10 or the Honda V12, it was lightweight, nimble, and bulletproof, revving to a spine-tingling 13,800 RPM and producing around 730 horsepower. It was a package that relied on driver skill rather than computer assistance, utilizing a manual H-pattern gearbox that required genuine physical effort to master. The story of chassis 192/06 reached its climax on August 30th, 1992. The setting was the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, widely considered the ultimate test of a driver's ability. The conditions were quintessential Spa: wet, unpredictable, and treacherous. Starting from third on the grid, Schumacher dropped behind initially but fought his way back. As the track began to dry, a moment of instinct that would define his career occurred. Schumacher noticed his teammate Martin Brundle struggling with blistered wet tires. While others hesitated, the 23-year-old Schumacher dove into the pits for slick tires at the precise, perfect moment. It was a strategic masterstroke combined with raw speed. He emerged, hammered down the lap times, and seized the lead, holding off the charging Williams of Nigel Mansell to take the checkered flag. That victory was the first of 91, and it happened in the cockpit of this very car. Chassis 06 did not just win at Spa, it was Schumacher's weapon of choice for the German, Hungarian, and Italian Grand Prix that same year, contributing significantly to his third-place finish in the Drivers' Championship, ahead of the legendary Ayrton Senna. Fast forward to 2026, and this artifact of racing royalty is being offered by Art Curial at their Retromobile sale in Paris. The car has been meticulously preserved, and perhaps most importantly, is listed as being on the button. In the world of historic Formula One cars, this is a crucial distinction. Many vehicles of this era require a phalanx of laptops and a team of engineers just to fire up the engine due to complex vintage electronics. However, the Benetton B192 is refreshingly analog in comparison. Its Ford Cosworth engine has covered only roughly 1,000 kilometers since its last rebuild, meaning it is ready to be driven. The sale includes everything a prospective owner would need to run the car, including the preheater for the engine fluids, the external starter mechanism, and crucially, a spare set of wheels. It is a turnkey package for the wealthiest track day enthusiast in the world, or a museum-grade centerpiece for a collector who understands that they are buying the Chapter 1 of the Schumacher story. The financial aspect of this sale is naturally staggering. Art Curial has placed an estimate on the car between 9 million and 12 million euros. In US dollars, we're looking at a potential sale price exceeding $12.5 million. While this might sound astronomical, one must consider the trajectory of the market. Schumacher's F2003-GA sold for nearly $15 million recently, and his F2001 went for over 7 million years ago. As time passes and the legend of Michael Schumacher solidifies into myth, especially given his absence from the public eye following his tragic skiing accident, items with a direct, irrefutable connection to his success are becoming the most coveted assets in the sporting world. This Benetton is arguably more significant than some of his championship-winning Ferraris, because there can be many championships, but there can only ever be one first win. It represents the breaking of the dam, the moment the potential turned into a trophy. Visually, the car is an icon of the 90s. Dressed in the vibrant yellow and green camel Benetton livery, it stands out against the modern grid of dark, carbon-heavy designs. The sponsorship decals, the simplistic steering wheel with its 3 buttons, and the analog gauges transport you back to a time when F1 was raw, loud, and visibly dangerous. The cockpit of Chassis 06 is a tight, purposeful office where a young Schumacher worked his magic, managing wheel spin with his right foot and gear changes with his right hand, dancing the car through the corners of Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. To sit in that seat is to occupy the same space where history was written. As we approach the auction date in February 2026, the automotive world is holding its breath. Will this car break records? It certainly has the potential. It ticks every single box for a blue-chip collectible: significant driver, significant race, legendary designers, and functional condition. It's a reminder of a golden era of Formula One, where V8 screamed through the forests of the Ardennes and a young German prodigy announced to the world that he was here to stay. Whoever raises their paddle last in Paris will not just be buying a car, they will be becoming the custodian of the spark that ignited the greatest fire Formula One has ever seen. We will be watching closely to see where the hammer falls, but one thing is certain: the Benetton B192 is not just a machine of metal and carbon fiber, it is a rolling monument to human excellence.